Also, I've been having a lot of trouble figuring out the cold opens for these. So maybe I'll just time travel in this episode and put this part in right now with absolutely no context as the cold open. That's my game plan. So how's it going?
Good. How's it going with you?
Good. I've got my homebrew beer beside me.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's finally time. I was lazy this year. I didn't brew. This is the first beer that I brewed. I only realized that about a month ago. I was like, wait a second, did I not brew a beer this year? And I'm like, oh, I didn't. So getting kind of in late. Usually I brew at least 2 a year, but this time maybe just the one. Although who knows? Maybe I'll sneak one in before December is over. But we'll see what happens.
Well, very nice. I have not been doing anything productive at all. So nice contrast there. I did start watching Succession, which is about as much work as I ever do, watching a TV show.
What is that?
It's the new HBO Prestige TV show.
Oh, okay. That's why I haven't heard of it, because I don't have any of the HBO stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been going. It's on season 3 now.
Oh, okay.
So it's been around. People have been, jacking off to it for a while at this point. It's the new, oh my God, it's like The Wire kind of thing where it's like, oh, this is such a, amazingly deep, real world. And it is. It's really great. I love it. But,
okay, so it is, I was about to say.
It's amazing. Yeah,
is it
really
actually
great.
that, or is it? Okay.
Yeah, I love it. But that is, that's the conversation around it. And so, I know personally I had a lot of trouble, broaching and to start watching it because I was just I don't want to watch something that everyone's loving and not like it and then feel bad afterward.
Yeah, you only like to do that when I suggest things.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel so bad when I do that. You're used to it at least.
I am used to it.
Yeah.
God, I swear to God, I was lying awake the other night thinking about how you didn't like Disco Elysium and how much it frustrated me. I don't know what it, where I got to that train of thought, but I was sitting there, I was just like, God damn it, Steven, why don't you like Disco Elysium? What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I feel the same way myself.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
So okay, because that was the thing, right? Because I guess this is my hot take right in the first couple minutes of the episode is
hell yeah.
Because people said that about Breaking Bad, and don't get me wrong, Breaking Bad was a fine show, but they were like, oh, this is it's as good as The Wire, and I'm like, is it though? It's not. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It was a good show, but I didn't I wasn't oh my God, in the same. It was just it was a very well made and good show.
Yeah. Well, I agree. The Breaking Bad was really good. Breaking Bad was really good, but it lacked that crucial element of examination of society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was very much a personal story about Walter White.
Mm-hmm.
And Succession is not as personal.
Yeah.
It is still pretty personal. It's about the Rupert Murdoch family. They don't say it's the Rupert Murdoch family. They call them the Roys.
Uh-huh.
But season 3 has them or maybe that's even season 2. I don't remember. I watched it all. I binged it all, so I don't know what the seasons are anymore. He has to go to Australia. Somewhere he's been banned from because in real life the Rupert Murdoch family is still banned from Australia.
Yeah,
is my understanding.
Oh, are they? Okay.
People listening, the Rupert Murdoch family is Fox News.
Yes.
Just FYI, that's what they do. And so it's about them and how dysfunctional they are and how horrible and ridiculous rich people are. It's I want to beat the protagonists to death regularly because they're so horrible.
Interesting. Well, I watched the thing that you had.
Anime, I hope.
Well, I mean, actually, I took a short break because we had just finished something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was all the stuff we needed to catch up on. So we had caught up on My Hero Academia, and I accidentally got reincarnated as a slime, and something else. I can't remember what else we caught up on. But there was new seasons of all that shit. So watched all those, which I mean, great, but I've talked about that. So we jumped back to Netflix for a bit because I was like, okay, well, we need to clear up the Netflix queue a little bit. And within that, we watched Squid Game.
Oh yeah, Squid Game, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So Squid Game. I mean, I don't want to do a whole episode on it because we already have a whole episode worth of stuff. But I will say this. Because you had mentioned last time that you found that it started out strong and then it started to kind of drag towards the end. I didn't find that as much as you said. I mean, I sort of saw where you were coming from, but I was pretty engaged like the whole time. I had levels of engagement that, were not the same, but I felt like I enjoyed the entirety of it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I found there was so I guess spoilers all for Squid Game. So if you haven't watched it and you intend to watch it at any point in the future, I'll give you timestamps. But the whole thing with the old man like being the guy behind everything, fucking totally caught me off guard.
Oh, okay. So interesting. That's the thing that didn't catch me off guard.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think that probably makes sense. That's how our experiences differed. Yeah,
it was well telegraphed. So
very well telegraphed.
You could have figured it out, and you clearly did. I did not. So I was like, oh shit. Like
yeah. And this is, we covered this a little bit last time. This is the first genre, like death game genre work you've seen in this style, other than like. Because I don't really consider battle royale to be this genre, right? Yeah. Battle royale is too like battle-y.
Okay.
Whereas these are like, there's a bunch of like downtime followed by holy shit, followed by more downtime.
Yeah,
whereas battle royale is all holy shit. Anyway, yeah.
Well, I guess so. Have you ever watched 3%?
3%, is that the one where they all go to like an island or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have not.
Oh, okay. Because it's not like a death game, right? It's it's like an elimination thing, right? But kind of a similar like type of. It's the same type of story.
Unsuccessful candidates are eliminated. Yeah. That does sound like that. Same kind of thing.
Yeah. They don't kill them afterwards. They just send them back to the slums. But like you may as well have killed them at that point. And so like. This is not the first thing like that I've watched, and I felt like I haven't watched a ton of it, right? Like this is not it's not like I've spent my like a ton of time watching a ton of these. Although I would take recommendations because I do like this particular genre. Like I love 3%. I liked this.
Yeah. I gave you my recommendations already, right?
I don't think you did.
Akagi.
Oh, okay. Maybe you did say that last time.
Yeah, they're all anime, so
yeah. But yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was enjoyable. I'm surprised they're going to grab another season out of it.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a one season type of thing, but whatever. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, it was it held my interest throughout. The poor English speaking actors in that.
Oh yeah.
They've been beat to death on the internet for how bad.
Yeah. And I also don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's very like Western centric to complain about that.
Yeah,
I've seen so many shows where actors are speaking a foreign language that's not their first language, and it's like if I was Chinese, right, I would be complaining about so many people, like all of Firefly.
Yeah, well, but they were, I think they were, English or American actors speaking English. They just. I have to imagine that one of two things happened. Is either they just did not get good stage direction for it was basically like, read these lines, and then they did. Or it was like, need you to speak really clearly because this is supposed to be in Korean. So you need to be like... So I don't know which one it was, but...
I think it's a combination of those. I think it's just that, like, no one gives a shit if they speak good English. Like, it's not important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, that's also true, right? It's like...
It's a Korean show, and so the English part is like meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there to say that they are American.
Yes.
But the actual words they say are not important.
Yeah, it's just it was so weird though when it's like they were not subtitled all of a sudden. I'm just like, oh my god, they are speaking English.
Yeah. I feel like it was definitely a shoe on the other foot scenario where we're so used to like English being the like front and center, like most important language.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone to come in and be like, I don't give a shit what they sound like when they're speaking English because I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like that was like really shocking to people that like, yeah. Oh man, you can consider English not the most important part of your show? How could you think you didn't spend the entire time like really crafting and getting all the right... you just didn't care because who fucking gives a shit? It's a Korean show. That's how I felt about it.
I am used to that from like all the anime where they have an American character and it's like some Japanese dude just like reading phonetically English lines, and it is always the best. Always the best.
Or the like so many American TV shows where someone will speak Italian or Chinese or Japanese or whatever. It's getting the Japanese tattoo right on your back, that says like honor, but really it says like this stupid American paid me $100 for this tattoo.
Yeah, fried rice.
Yeah, I mean, but you enjoyed it.
I did, yes.
Yeah, I thought it was also a good show. It was solid.
Yeah, it was solid. I mean, I will watch the second season when it comes out because I will just watch basically anything. But I don't know if I'll finish the second season. It depends on what the level of quality is. I will say that it immediately drew some comparisons to Parasite. Just in the
oh god, yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Korea at the moment, but it seems like there is a lot of stuff. Well, I mean, I'm drawing this comparison out of two pieces of media. I guess the two pieces of media that made it to the West in a way that like has become popular are both kind of in those similar themes, which is interesting. You know.
Yeah, well, so this didn't make it to Western news sources, but like there was like a pseudo national like strike in South Korea.
Oh, okay. So there is some type of
there's shit going on.
Okay.
Yeah, both of my roommates do English teaching in Korea online. So like I get a good steady feed of like what the news is in Korea from that, or at least general ideas, if not actual stuff. Mm-hmm. So I can confirm that shit is going on.
Fair enough. Okay, because that was what I was wondering, is because it really feels like there's kind of at least. Again, two pieces of media, so not exactly a trend, but like there seems to have been an uptick in these kinds of themes coming about out of Korean media making it to the West. And so I wondered if there was something that was kind of going on in relation to that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, that was kind of like, okay, Squid Game, I watched it. So, and then I have been watching anime, but I've been watching Hajime no Ippo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, but nice. I don't want to talk about it because I feel like any reaction that you provide to any of the things that I have to say at this point will just spoil things for me. So
my only reaction is hell yeah, Hajime no Ippo is amazing. Okay. I don't remember anything about the series, so I couldn't spoil it if I wanted.
You say that, but like I have some very like it's like anyway. When I finish it, we will talk about Hajime no Ippo.
I mean, I've never even finished it, so I mean, you'll be ahead of me on that game. I watched like 60 episodes, and I was like, okay, I get it.
But do you? Do you get it, Steven?
Yes, I do. It's a great sports anime.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it's super good.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you is, have you watched the Cowboy Bebop trailer?
Which one?
Both of them, I guess, because there were two.
Yeah, I can't. I tried multiple times to watch them. It just hurts.
Yeah.
I just feel embarrassed for them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What's your reaction?
Very similar.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, you're not like, none of you guys are giving me the cool vibe.
Yeah.
This is a failure.
I will watch the first episode, but I would be very surprised if I watch more than one episode.
Yeah. It's the same way I feel about the Wheel of Time series coming out later this month.
See,
it's like, I'm excited, but I'm also ready to hate it.
Well, see, I have the benefit with that of I've never read Wheel of Time. So for me, like, whatever they present to me is my experience of Wheel of Time, which will annoy you to no end, I'm sure, because you'd be like, that has nothing to do with the story, and what the hell?
I mean, if they just adapt the first book, they'll be okay.
Okay.
It's the problem is like if they end up doing multiple seasons, at some point they're going to start having to cut like entire books. And like I say that as a fan, like they need to cut entire books out of that series.
Yeah, I mean,
so that'll be where it gets interesting.
You have said to me on many occasions that the Wheel of Time is a bit bloated.
Yeah, and I say that most people don't like the middle part of Wheel of Time because it slows down a lot and it just becomes really wanky.
Yeah,
I like that part of Wheel of Time. I have no problem with it, but like I say it as a fan of the middle part, they need to cut it down.
Fair enough. Oh boy. So yeah. I figured you'd had that reaction to the I don't know. I just feel like the casting is off and
it's all wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Mustafa was a good choice for Jet, but that's about it.
Yes. Jet's casting is good. I don't like Spike or
Faye.
Faye's. Yeah, Faye's.
Yeah.
Casting.
I mean, no offense to John Cho, but like he just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't fit the bill.
He's not cool.
He's not. Yeah. He just doesn't. He doesn't come off as cool.
I don't feel like he's cool. Yeah. Get Keanu Reeves. I mean, like seriously, get Keanu Reeves and get oh my god, who's the actress who keeps working with Tim Burton?
Oh,
Helena Bonham Carter.
Really?
Helena Bonham Carter. Get Helena. Oh yeah.
You think so?
She's so crazy that I feel like it would work.
Okay.
Because Faye's crazy. Like Faye's like That's her, like,
Yeah.
you know, she's like mysterious and she has a character, but like her face is like crazy lady.
Yeah.
Right? That's the face she puts out. Mm-hmm. And like, Hello Annabelle Carter. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but she does crazy lady really well. I'm just imagining her Harry Potter character as Faye Valentine. And it's like, yes, 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 yes. That works.
I will be interested to see if they pull, because I mean trailers sometimes suck. So maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by the first episode, but I'm not really expecting it.
Yeah. Especially that first one where they were like moving between colors.
No, that one was really bad. And I found the second one to be infinitely better than the first one that they put out, but I was still a little bit like, I don't think this is not hitting the right mark for me, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree.
Also, I've been having a lot of trouble figuring out the cold opens for these. So maybe I'll just time travel in this episode and put this part in right now with absolutely no context as the cold open. That's my game plan.
I was talking about Cowboy Bebop, or
no,
literally
what I literally just said just now.
Perfect. Yeah.
Stick that in.
I like that.
Open. It's hard, man. Every time I start these fucking episodes, I'm just like, shit, what am I going to do for the cold open? I need something clever for the cold open.
Oh, see that you're putting yourself in a corner there. Stop thinking it has to be clever. It just has to be something.
It just has to be cold.
It has to be cold. Yeah. Just like put like, I don't know, do
Were you just Rick
random Christmas music for a cold open.
Were you just Rick Sanchez there for a second?
Yeah, a little bit. I was trying to force my words out through my brain.
Oh man.
I listened to your 2 songs.
Oh, cool. That was what I was gonna jump to next.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah. I had to stop listening to Your House Is Just a Place the first time because I was not expecting vocals.
I told you there was gonna be vocals.
Yeah, but I forgot. And so it was just like, oh my god, that's Jason singing. I have to like mentally prepare myself to hear my brother like sing emotionally on a song. Mm-hmm. But once I did that, it was great. I liked it.
Really? Okay, nice.
I liked both of these. Your House Is Just a Place reminded me of Space Is Not a Place by Nicholas Jarre, who was the artist behind that one album we both liked.
Yeah.
Nicholas Jarre, Space Is Not a Place.
Yeah, All Against Logic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Against All Logic.
Against All Logic.
You reminded me a lot of that.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
It's like it's very, very, very similar. Where it's like these like very minimalist vocals, kind of over top this like, I don't want to say light because that's not really what I'm saying. This like acoustic-esque like ballad.
Yeah, I mean, I was going very log. That was what I was looking for. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's like synth in the bass and like just like a very like kind of, you know, simple guitar pattern going over the top of it, and then just kind of crispy vocals. You know, a little scratchy.
Yeah.
That was
I liked it.
Cool.
If you were going for log, I would have put a piano in there somewhere.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I couldn't come up with anything, and so I abandoned it. But I also tried to put drums in, but I kind of, the part that I'd want to put drums in was the quote unquote chorus part of it, where I didn't really play that part to a click, because normally when I play this, I don't play it to a click. So
I'm sorry, excuse me, play it to a click?
Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe I like a metronome.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was some jargon you just laid down on me.
I apologize.
I've never heard that before.
Okay, yeah. So a click is a click track. And so
a click track. Okay, I do know what those are. Okay.
Yeah, and so I didn't play it to a click track, so it's not so much exactly perfectly in time. It's that part is a little bit more. The rest of it is played to a click because I felt like that was necessary, but like for the strumming part, I was like, you know what? I always just kind of play this freeform, so I'm going to play it freeform, which doesn't really lend itself to drumming because if you don't have a steady tempo, then it's not going to fucking work. So
I'll be honest, I did not notice that it was. I mean, if there was something timing wrong with the song, I did not notice anything like that. It sounded very coherent.
That's good. I appreciate that came across that it did not sound because it slightly speeds up at that point because when I'm not playing to a click, I tend to rush a little bit, and so that's
fine. Yeah. I actually, it's interesting because my main complaint my main criticism of your Earthbound song is that it's too rigid. You don't swing enough. I mean, I don't know if you were going for Earthbound literally or just using Earthbound stuff to make a song. So if it's the first one, you needed more swing. If it's the second one, then you didn't.
Yeah, I was just trying to use a lot of the Earthbound soundboard for it, but I was just trying. Like, I was just fucking around.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is great. I love the part at a minute or so where it starts using that like click.
Oh, dude, I was upset. So that's off of that is not off the Earthbound sound font. It's off of something else. But it's called I think it's called like Railway Transformer, and it's like it's just like that electrical sound of like a transformer clicking over.
Like 115.
115. Here, let me actually listen to that.
Yeah, literally 115. Yeah, that.
Oh, that part.
That I love that.
Oh yeah,
that's Earthbound.
Yeah, it's like the breakdown with like the telephone in the background.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it goes to that sound is that like kind of like staticky stuff in the like afterwards at like around 124. That's
definitely the Gygas stuff, right?
No, that's Summer's Beach.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, but I went down a couple octaves on the keyboard.
Oh.
Because that's the fun thing about those soundboards is like you could play them at different parts of the keyboard and it like modulates the sound, to be higher or lower. And, with higher, it's faster. With lower, it's slower. So you get sort of like weird. That was how I was able to do the thing with the telephone of it kind of like having different keys is I built up a chord on the telephone. So it's like it's got like just all these different things going on. Fucking
Yeah, I really liked it. It was really good. It didn't sound like Earthbound, but now that I know you weren't trying to make it sound like Earthbound, then I have nothing to say other than that I liked it.
Nice.
It's really good. Yeah.
What did you think of like the end part starting around like 3 minutes?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, like the da 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 with the like snare roll going on. Yeah, that's great.
And like the little chorus in the background.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, for sure.
Me too. And like when I made that, I was like, I literally got that stuck in my head for like 2 weeks, which I don't get my own shit stuck in my head normally. I was just like, I made this and I was like, oh fuck, did I accidentally make a banger? If not, I definitely made a banger for me.
Yeah, it's really good.
Cool. I am glad you enjoyed it because, I have not been able to make anything even close to as good since.
Oh, damn.
And I've been trying. But that's the problem, right? Is like when you're trying, you can't, like you have to just like, I made this completely by accident from just like, I was doing stuff and then suddenly something clicked and I was like, oh, I think I know what I want to do with this. And I just kept making it and it just came out and it was fucking like, I was like, oh, I like this. I like what I just made. As some of the shit that I've been making recently, like I keep fighting the music and I need to just I need to just walk away from it for a while and then listen back to it and try to figure out what the hell it wants to be and just do that instead of trying to force it to be something that I want it to be.
Sure.
I apologize if that sounds incredibly pretentious, but that is how it feels.
No, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. But I have no insight into that world.
Yeah. It's, making music is fucking hard, like I really respect anybody that's able to like, I mean, shit, man, we're about to talk about 4 albums and it is amazing to me that people are able to like make an entire album of songs. Cause I made like 2 songs, one of them that I wrote fucking a million years, like 7 or 8 years ago. And all I did basically was record it and add a synth part, like, and another one where I accidentally made something and have not been able to accidentally make something again. So the fact that you can, make an entire hour's worth of songs for an album, it's like, I understand why this shit sometimes takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's like, you gotta wait for the fucking muse to show up and like give you the magic sauce because you cannot force it.
Yeah. You have to wait for your actual brain to tell you what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else before we jump into the music?
No, nothing I can think of.
All right. Well, so why don't we talk about what were the 2 albums that you recommended, Steven?
I recommended Donuts by Jay Dilla. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know how to describe it. It is Adult Swim music.
It's actually
quite literally.
That's a very good way to describe it. I got that.
I mean, it is literally that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, did they use did they use Jay Dilla for some of the breaks?
A lot of the bumps we've heard in our youth were from Jay Dilla. So
okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Literally, yes. And then I also recommended The Suburbs by Arcade Fire, which is just like an indie rock concept album.
All right. And then and why did you recommend those two albums?
Jay Dilla for exactly what I just described. It's Adult Swim music, and I know we've both watched a lot of Adult Swim in our youth
together, so you definitely know.
I thought it was interesting to get a look into the actual artists behind some of that bump music that I think we all loved. Because I mean, I know I love bump music.
Oh yeah, me as
in
well.
Adult Swim. Yeah, it was so good. And then Arcade Fire, just because it's like a really good album that I consider like, I don't know, quintessential is a strong word, but like it's worth it to listen to it always.
All right. And then I recommended Eros Anteros by Oathbreaker and Mariner by Cult of Luna with special guest Julie Christmas on vocals. And so I recommended actually both these for similar reasons, because I know that you enjoy female vocalists in metal music. And I specifically recommended the Oathbreaker album because I know you like that Amisters album. And I felt like this was going to be kind of in the same sweet spot. And then the Mariner one, because Julie Christmas is a fucking insane vocalist and like really, I don't know, maybe there's some other vocalists that are like her, but to me, her delivery is pretty unique in the way that she goes about it. And I was like, all right, so if I'm gonna do two metal albums again and make Steven listen to two screamy metal albums, these are gonna be the two screamy metal albums that I'm gonna throw at him. So that was mine. So do you want to do one of mine first or one of yours first?
Let's do one of yours first.
Okay. Which one would you pick?
Let's do that's hard. Let's do Cult of Luna first.
Okay.
I feel like that's the one I have maybe less to say about. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's just do that one first.
Go for it.
I didn't like this album as much as I like the other album. That's a little spoilery, but that's the best way I can put it.
I mean, if you put it first, I usually assume you did not like it as much.
Yeah. I liked parts of this album a lot. I liked Julie Christmas. I kind of feel though, I mean, I feel like Julie Christmas like didn't give her all on this album.
Okay, you have to defend that, but go ahead.
Yeah, because like when I started listening to it, I was like, oh, this is really good. I like this. I like the vocals. I like, I can always take the screamo vocals, take it or leave it, but they didn't really bother me as much as they usually do. I think I'm just getting used to those kind of lyrics, honestly.
It's funny. I don't mean to pause you here, but like, because you've said this multiple times, and I need to make one point, because it's funny to me that you say this now, because it was your fault in the first place that I started listening to bands like this. Like, you did this you were like, oh, you should listen to Opeth, and you should listen to Akrikaki, you should listen to, and I started listening to these, and then now, all of these years later, you're like, I don't really like it anymore.
Yeah. Hey man, I mean, Akrikaki was fucking middle school for me. Like, you have to understand that, right? I was fucking 12 when I was listening to, like, Akrikaki in the back of a bus. So, like, I've had multiple decades to, like, get over.
It's fine. It's just, like, it's so surprising. It's just, like, you were the one who were like, these are great, and now you're like, ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, continue. I did not mean to derail you.
And so, like, I was really digging it until I got to the Wreck of SS Needle, right? And the intro for that song ruined the rest of the album for me, because it is the only place where I feel like Julia Christmas is singing with reckless abandon. Like, the way she sings at the start of this song is hurting her voice. And because of that, it sounds amazing. It sounds like the, what you just said, that one album, the Amateurs album.
Yeah.
Where she's like, let me see. Let me get the actual timestamp for you. Yeah, okay, 1820, right about there.
Let me go. I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah,
where
that
she's
is
like
hurting her voice.
She's shrieking.
Yeah, that's painful for her, and that's gonna like hurt her, and like you shouldn't do that as a singer. Like, that's a bad technique to use. And so she doesn't do it on any other song on the album, but that's the sound that I want, is that exact thing. It's like, I like that sound.
Yes, of somebody literally screeching at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, and so like, I really loved The Wreck of SS Needle.
Okay. When you started that sentence, I thought you were going to tell me that you didn't like it. And
No, I loved it to the point where every other song on this album was kind of like, it's not The Wreck of SS Needle, so why am I even bothering? I just want to listen to that song again. It was so good. Oh my god, yeah. I love this song particularly.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I recommended this album specifically on the basis of The Wreck of the SS Needle. So if you didn't like it, I was going to cry.
Yeah.
And if you did like it, I was going to be like, okay, hell yeah. So you like The Wreck of SS Needle. That's what I was looking for. I thought, I think Chevron is also good.
You know, it's not that I didn't like the other songs, right? Like, Chevron's good. It's just like,
yeah, there's not as much of her like absolutely going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, there are some parts in Chevron where she does let loose a little bit, but she's doing it in a duet with the male vocalist.
Yeah,
and it's like you can just take that male vocalist off there. And I usually don't do this, but I looked up some reviews for this album. And apparently Julie Christmas and the drums were recorded separately and then like mixed in later.
Okay.
And I didn't like. You know, I'm not a keen ear, so it's not like I could tell that was the case or anything, right? It's seamless as far as I'm concerned. But that's the kind of thing where it's like, maybe if they were all doing this together, he would have backed off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and let her, like, because her voice is amazing, so I just want more of it.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic. And it's like, I mean, like, that, like, the delivery of her from, like, that kind of, like, weird, like, almost childlike kind of singing to like just this insane banshee shrieking it's on point. I very much enjoy it.
Yeah, the only part where that bothered me is in Cygnus.
Okay.
In particular, I'm trying to find a timestamp. And you remember that band you showed me either the last podcast or the podcast before, where it's like carnival music almost?
Okay.
That band, I don't remember what they were called, but like the vocals were like cutesy creepy. If that makes sense. And Cygnus was where like, let me see if I can find a timestamp. I just felt like there were a couple moments where I wasn't taking here. Like 46:30. You know what I'm saying? Like cutesy creepy.
Yeah.
Like whispery.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I have trouble taking that kind of vocal style seriously.
See, I find that less on Cygnus and more on Chevron, which is interesting. I actually don't, that doesn't bother me. I actually really dig it, but like, I do see what you're saying.
I don't hear it on Chevron at all. That's interesting. Oh, okay. No. 15. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a little bit there.
Yeah.
But Cygnus is where it like really popped out to me.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle part of Cygnus, yeah.
In truth, The Wreck of the SS Needle is just like, I could just put that on repeat, and that may as well be the album to me. So
yeah,
you know.
And I will say also, I liked Transition, Approaching Transition.
Oh, that's a great track. I mean, that's much more.
That's a great track.
That's much
it's a post-rock track.
Well, yeah, I mean that is much more like a classic Cult of Luna track. So if you like their post-rock stuff, you would love their later albums, especially All Along the Highway is just a straight post-rock album or post-metal album. It's not like it's not.
I wouldn't go ahead. I wouldn't describe Approaching Transition as post-metal though. Like I would firmly say it is post-rock.
Well, I mean, I feel like the line between post-metal and post-rock is so blurry that that's
a good point.
Yeah, like they may as well be the same. Like the only reason why I say it's post-metal is because they're a metal band, and so they're
literally post-metal.
So they're literally post-metal. But like, you know, when you do post-metal honestly, like, and you're not trying to on purpose inject a bunch of metal into it like unnecessarily, you basically are just making post-rock. So
I mean, metal is just a version of rock.
Yeah, I mean, metal is just like rock with harder drums and harder vocals. Like,
and if you take away the vocals and lessen the drums a little bit, it's like
it becomes very difficult to distinguish. Yeah, between rock and metal. No, I mean, yeah, and like I have that. Honestly, I have that reaction to Somewhere Along the Highway. It's my least favorite album by them. It is most people's favorite album by them, and I understand why. Because if you come to them looking, if that is the first album you heard by them and you wanted to hear more, the rest of their their catalog is going to thoroughly disappoint you. Whereas, like, if you come to them for the sludge metal elements that I like from them, then that album is just a weird blip. That's what it is. But yeah, no, I mean, you like the song that I wanted you to like. You got out of it what I wanted you to get out of.
Yeah, I really like The Wreck of SS Needle. I wish there was a whole album of that.
So do I. I mean, that track is fucking amazing. It's so good.
It's really good. I was like, I was lukewarm on the first 2 albums, and that came out. I was like, oh my, not albums, songs. And that came out. I was like, oh wow, I hope the rest of the album is like this. And it's like, no, that's all I get.
Yep. So, if I was the mixtape type of person, this would be on the mixtape.
Yeah. Otherwise, other than like just the vocals, because I feel like that's all we've been talking about. The rest of the album is like, I don't know. I wasn't like surprised by any of the instrumentation or anything. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, this is just more Cult of Luna, but with a different vocalist, like layered on top sometimes. So I imagine most of your comments from the first Cult of Luna album would carry over here.
Yeah, and just like yeah, exactly. There's some moments where I feel like it comes to life a little bit. I like, you know what? I'm going through these again just to listen to some of the parts, and it's like I really like the openings of a lot of these songs. Actually, like the opening to Cygnus is pretty great. I'm not a big fan of the cutesy vocals, but I like the riffs and stuff that are coming off the opening. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listening to the Cygnus song, just going through it again, I'm not a big fan of the vocals, but the instrumentation is really nice. I do like that. A solid like 7 out of 10 album for me.
I mean, you know what? I will take it.
Yeah.
If you can't stand like, screamy, like screamo vocals, as you describe them, screamo vocals, even though that is
Screamo,
hilarious.
even though they're not, yeah.
Hilarious term for what it is. It's not. And the cutesy vocals. See, for me, like, I think the first time I listened to this, the cutesy vocals were like, I was like, but like now, like that I've listened to this a bunch of times, like I adore them. I'm just like, oh, like I feel like the juxtaposition between those and like her just banshee screams are just like, it's chef's kiss. It's so good. So like, I understand where you're coming from, but I definitely became more accustomed to them over time. And you could decide whether or not that's worthwhile, but I did definitely. Yeah. But yeah. But I think it was the Birthday Massacre was the band you were referring to.
Yes, Birthday Massacre, exactly. Yeah.
If you don't like the Birthday Massacre, then yeah, I can understand why you don't like the cute.
I have a bad history with that style of music.
Yeah.
Of like circus fair metal.
Yeah.
So
well, actually, I think we'll get into that later. In a different way for me, and I won't spoil the discussion, but I'll just say I realized a similar thing about myself related to a different type of vocals. So
cool. Okay.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
I'm excited. Beyond Redshift was an interesting outro for the album, though.
Yeah. So I
take it from reviews, no one mentioned it, so I take it it's an extra track. But
you don't pay attention to the Discord, do you?
God no. I don't even pay attention to my like roommate's Discord.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I mean, good luck.
I said on October the 20th, 2021. So I just noticed the Cult of Luna album includes the bonus track Beyond the Redshift. I would consider the track optional.
Oh right, I remember you saying that. Yeah. But I actually liked it. I thought it was a good outro.
I figured you would like it. That was the first time I had listened to it. Because
it's
yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like a movie OST or something. That's all.
Yeah, and it's nothing wrong with it. I just like it was weird to me because I'm so used to the album ending after Cygnus, and I feel like Cygnus is the right place for it to end, and that was just kind of like a weird epilogue. It's fine. I mean, it's a perfectly good track, but it's really post rock, which I know you like, so cool. But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't consider the album. I consider the album ends at Cygnus.
No, I agree. Cygnus is the fade out is like that's an album ender. For sure.
And it's like, I mean, that's the high point, it gets like so fucking crazy. And then it just kind of, drops to nothing. Also, I don't know, like, I mean, I don't really think about this when I think about the album, but like, apparently this album is about like space travel, which I think is kind of like.
Yes, apparently.
Yes. I don't really, I mean, I like the kind of, nautical like imagery, like from the wreck of SS Needle, obviously.
Yes, definitely.
In contrast to like, the whole space thing, like, I like that kind of stuff just in media in general, but like I don't exactly get some kind of massive like, oh, this is about space travel, even though the outro is Cygnus and then the bonus track outro Beyond the Redshift. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the reviews I read, the few I read, were also confused about that aspect.
Yeah. It's like
this doesn't really seem like a sci-fi concept album.
Yeah, it's like sure, Cult of Luna, sure it is. Whatever you say. Also, before we move on, I do just really want to like reiterate, holy crap, does it sound like she is injuring her voice, like.
Yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, she is. She's literally doing that.
Yeah, so God,
there's a reason you don't hear that style of vocal very often.
Yeah. Fucking please be careful with your voices, people. God, that just sounds like it. Like, as somebody that like does like to sing, like, God, that sounds like it fucking hurts. Holy shit. And it probably does a lot. So I wanted to reiterate that point because I didn't want to leave without really hammering that home. Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's why it's so special to hear it. Because it's like you sacrificed a real part of your physicality to do that.
Jesus Christ. So let's move on to The Suburbs by the Arcade Fire.
Oh, The Suburbs first, not Jay Dilla. I'm surprised. Okay.
I thought that was going to surprise you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think you actually said this, so I don't think it's that much of a limb. It's a pretty solid limb, more like a branch or like maybe an entire tree. But you recommended this to me partially on the basis of the fact that I had recommended Ghost City by Delta Sleep to you, right?
Yes, almost. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this was my version of that album for sure.
So, and I guess maybe this is a disappointing comment to you, but I found that I knew that going in, and I felt that, like listening to the album, I saw the comparisons, and I felt like that particular comparison was not favorable to this album from my perspective.
In like a thematic way or like musically?
Musically.
Interesting.
Also thematic, actually, and I'll get into that too, but like...
Because the album Delta City is about the city, obviously, and this is about the suburbs. So it's not quite one-to-one, obviously.
No, it's we'll jump into it then, because I feel like the Delta Sleep album, I mean, to me, that says much more like surveillance state and like oppressive environment, and the whole escaping the city is like literally like escaping fucking like fascism, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas like the suburbs like read to me a lot more like, oh, things used to be better in the past when we wrote letters. Like,
oh, interesting.
Like and it was like a couple tracks that really like got that out to me. It was just like, it's like, oh, everything was better in the past. It's just like, dude, it felt more like Ludditism than it did like escaping from oppression is how it read to me. And that's me partially bringing in my own biases because I fucking hate shit like that. And so like anything that feels that way is very like immediately like to me. But so that did not help in terms of theming.
Yeah, because it's not a criticism of the suburbs, right? It's just a like, this was what it was like growing up in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. It's not endorsing it or decrying it. It's just like, yeah, this is it.
That almost makes it worse, though. It's like, it's not even taking a stand. It's just like, here's the thing. It's like, okay, cool.
I find it very nostalgic, I guess, for me. But that might be because it's literally nostalgic for me, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, well, see, there you go, right? Because I mean, me listening to this album, it's like, okay, I'm hearing it, and now it's in my brain, and now it's not in my brain anymore. And I think that, like... It also does not help that, as somebody that literally, like, because to me, it did feel like a little bit of like oh, we got to escape from the suburbs type of thing. And maybe that was a wrong reading of it, but it certainly towards the end felt that way. Like, especially in like the Sprawl too, which, by the way, great fucking track. Great fucking track. But that theming was there, and it's like, as somebody that literally chose to live in the suburbs on purpose, I'm like, what's wrong with the suburbs? They're fine. Like, it's where I live. I literally live in the suburbs. But so I don't know. I feel like this album, like, you remember? So two podcasts ago when we talked about lyrical focus versus music focus, right?
Sure.
Where we talked about basically it's like an album, like a song is either trying to grab you with the actual text of like, this is what we're talking about, or it's trying to grab you with like, this is the musical kind of thing behind it. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's, way more of one, way more of the other, whatever.
Sure.
But because the lyrics of this didn't really resonate to me, I felt like something was lost in a way that like the Delta Sleep album is musically very great, and then the lyrics to me only elevate it. This was like, the music was okay. It was pretty good. Some parts were great, some parts were meh, but the lyrics really didn't connect with me for the most part.
I mean, you know me. I don't
listen to the lyrics.
I don't get any, like, I only get the emotional, like, resonance of the song. So I'd like, you could very well be right. That's as far as I'm concerned, right? It's like, I don't even really, I mean, I'll say what my piece here. I don't even consider the first 6 songs to really be a part of the album in like a real way. Like the first 6 songs until you get to Half-Life 1, you can just throw those songs away. I mean, I like them. They're all good songs, but they're not important to the album in any way to me.
You gotta tell me these things before we start these albums, man.
Yeah.
This is not the first.
I don't want to. It was a mistake to influence you by comparing it to Delta Sleep in the first place. That was the misstep.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a misstep on your part, because yes. I did constantly compare. Although I don't think I would have been able to avoid it just because of the actual physical content of it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was going to happen.
You did recommend this to me right after The Suburbs, so I knew that it was that anyway. Like, that was inescapable.
Yeah, and so like to me, the album starts with Half-Light, and the first, like, I like Modern Man and Rococo and City with No Children. Those are all really fun songs, but there's no like cohesiveness to them. And I feel like you're agreeing with me there, right? I mean, they're just songs.
I mean, the intro to this album is always really rough to me. In fact, I have a note here where I was like, why do you even like this? Because, I mean, I think maybe the answer is because it's nostalgic, but like, you know, you have espoused on multiple occasions, I don't really like straight ahead 4-piece rock, and like this is the most straight aheady of 4-piece rock that you could possibly produce. Yeah,
so like The Suburbs is fine. I like it's fine. It's a fine song. Ready to Start is okay. It's really Half-Life for me. That's where it like starts to like go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean the back half of the album is definitely the best part. But I
way better.
I really want to dwell on this point here for a second.
Sure.
I can't let it pass us by. Do you or do you not actually like straight ahead 4-piece rock? Because I feel like I can never pin down an answer with you.
I like straight ahead 4-piece rock that doesn't sound the same as every other straight ahead 4-piece rock sound.
And what about this? So then what about this sounds different to you?
So in Half-Light, right around a minute, it like gets this like violin-y orchestral backdrop going. And that's it. There you go. That's why I like it. That sound combined with the rock happening in the foreground, I'm a sucker for that every time.
Okay. All right. I'm just I
the
thought
closer it gets to electronica, the better.
I thought I had a fairly good grasp of your music tastes before we started doing
good luck. I don't have a fair grasp of my music tastes. So yeah, I mean, if you're struggling to understand my music tastes, that's okay, because I don't understand my music tastes. They change often and constantly.
Yeah, and so like this album was a huge surprise to me that you recommended this. Like this seemed to me like something that I could not imagine you listening to and liking. Like if I had suggested this album, you would have been like, this is generic bullshit. Get this out of here.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about the first 6 songs on the album. I do like City with No Children.
City with No Children. Yeah, actually, I think
it's a really good one.
Let me look at my notes and see which songs, because I know this. Okay, so Sprawl 2, Empty Room, and Suburban War were the 3 that I picked out.
Yeah.
I don't like Suburban War all the way through, but I think that the end of Suburban War is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, they get like a little bit, it gets a little orchestral after Half-Light. All of that stuff after it, like there's a little bit of a backdrop of like sadness happening, and I enjoy that sound. Although that said, I also really like Month of May, even though that's like a totally just like, that doesn't fit with the rest of the album in a lot of ways. I just like...
Yeah. I think I really just like the female vocalist on this, which is why I like Empty Room so much, you know?
Oh, Empty Room. Let me listen to that again.
Like, around a minute, like, it's just like, I mean, it's so hype.
Oh, yeah, her. Yeah. I do like, this is a great song, too.
But nothing in this album reaches the heights of Sprawl 2, Mountains Beyond Mountains. Like...
Oh, no. Yeah.
Like...
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this track... First of all, this track reminds me the most of Delta Sleep. Like honestly, if you stuck this track towards the end of Ghost City, it wouldn't be totally out of place. Like,
no, definitely, yeah.
It's got enough of the same vibe that it almost works.
I would also point out that this is 8 years before Delta Sleep, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some overlap because of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't be surprised if there's some. I mean, I know the Arcade Fire is an influential band, and people like the Arcade Fire. I just don't love this album that much, but I love this song. And if the whole album was like this type of thing, it's like almost like a pseudo 80s type of like backbeat type of thing. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I would love this album. But
so
it's
what are the songs you liked again?
So Empty Room, The End of Suburban War, and The Sprawl 2.
I'm surprised you don't like We Used to Wait as well.
Well, see, the problem with We Used to Wait, because I do like parts of it, but it's got the red letter. It's like, fuck off. It annoyed me. That's the problem with that song. Yeah, because ostensibly I should have liked that. That was one case where the lyrics actually made me like the song less.
Yeah, the only lyric I know from that song is We Used to Wait.
And see, that's the difference between us, Steven. It's like, I can't help but listen to the vocalists, you know? Like, I mean, I've said it before, right? Is like, I mean, vocals is technically my instrument. It's the thing that I'm probably better at than most of the other things that I do, you know, even though I try really hard at guitar. I try really hard. But
I don't know, your guitar works pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't sell yourself short there.
Well, you know, editing is amazing.
All music's edited.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, I'm not as bad at guitar as I mean, you know, like, yeah, like that thing that I wrote, you know, I mean, I wrote that, like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good.
You know, so I'm not horrible. I wish I was better. I mean, I think almost every guitarist except for, you know, like fucking John Petrucci and, you know, a couple other people fucking feel this way, but it's just like, I'm just like, oh, I wish I could play that. It's like, but I can't because my fingers don't do the thing. But like, so I can't help but listen to lyrics. Like, lyrics are the thing that I like latch onto a lot, you know, especially in bands like this. Like in metal bands, it's different because it's like, fucking the lyrics, like they could be nonsense. They could be just screaming pancakes the entire time, and it really wouldn't make that much of a difference to me.
I feel like every metal band that exists has taken enormous amounts of offense at that.
And that's fine. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like most of the time I'm not even trying. Like, I can hear what you're saying most of the time, but like I'm not trying. Like the screams are just an extra layer of distortion, you know? Whereas here, like the lyrics are the thing. You know, like they're at the forefront. They're trying to communicate something, and when the thing that they're communicating like annoys me, I don't want to listen to it. Yeah,
that's why you just got to stop listening to lyrics, Jason. It solves the problem.
Yeah, well, make the lyrics more unintelligible, and then it's easier. You know, just really Kurt Cobain them and just like fucking mumble them, and then it would be better. But they're so clear and crisp that like I can't help but listen to them. Yeah. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think I surprised you with this particular one, but yeah, I do not really like this as much as I think you expected me to like it.
Yeah, I definitely thought you were just gonna like the whole album. But I mean, I don't even really. The front half is really poppy. They're like each of those is like a fine standalone song. But yeah, Half-Life 1 and 2 and The Sprawl.
Yeah,
pretty much is like why I recommended it.
I think that you will find that I like straight ahead 4-piece rock a lot less than you think I do.
Yeah, you like metal a lot more than I thought you did too. So,
oh no, I'm a huge metalhead. I mean,
yeah, I like straight ahead 4-piece rock more than you do.
You probably do.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, honestly, like my music tastes are much more skewed towards either pretty much any genre of metal. Because I like the music, like the musicmanship of metal a lot. Like metal is fun to play. You know, on the guitar. Like, it's fun to try and learn metal songs because they're fun and they're cool and, like, it's good stuff.
Yeah, you're a musician, so you appreciate.
Yeah. Same reason why I like fucking math rock, because math rock is the same deal. It's heavy guitar work musicmanship, and it's fun. And it's like, and to me, like, those are like a lot of metal, not all metal, because some metal is very just like power chords the entire time, but like, there's a lot of like death metal, especially, is very much like that, and math rock is it's musicians' music. You know, it's like death metal is like the jazz of metal. It's like all of the fucking cool guitar work and shit. It all happens in death metal. You know, I mean, like there's stuff in prog, but prog is so fucking
prog is loaded.
Prog is wanky, you know?
Yeah, it is.
And like, wanky. I like prog sometimes, and there's plenty of prog bands that I really enjoy, but like a lot of prog bands just like try to be Dream Theater, and Dream Theater is already too much Dream Theater for Dream Theater. So like, you know, like we don't need more. We need less. We need strip it back a little bit, you know? And then, I mean, fucking, you know, math rock is just cake. I mean, it's like just watching somebody fucking be amazing on the guitar for, an entire album, and it's great, So like, yeah, I mean, that's where my loyalties really lie, is with, like a lot of death metal and a lot of
technical musicianship.
Yeah. Not too technical, like technical death metal, very impressive. Don't really like it that much because it sounds like fucking shit garbage, but like, sorry, most technical death bands. There are some technical death bands that rock, but a lot of them really don't, So like, a lot of them are just like throwing more notes at it for the purpose of throwing more notes at it, which if you dig it, that's cool. It's not my jam. I like it. I do like some amount of actual like composition, and not just I am going to make you hear as many notes as humanly possible in the shortest span of time. So there it is. There's my hot fucking take. But I think that was about it that I had to say about this album. Do you have any other thoughts or?
No, not really. Yeah, I mean, I agree that the best songs are the two, Half-Life and Sprawl, especially Sprawl. I mean, yeah.
Sprawl 2.
Yeah, Sprawl 2, yeah. Because Sprawl 1 is just the intro to Sprawl.
Yeah, Sprawl 2 is, God, fucking Sprawl
song.
2.
Yeah.
Every time, I wish it wasn't the 15th track on a 16-track album. I wish it was tracks 1 through 16 on the album.
Yeah. It is. It's the like capstone for sure.
Yes. So shall we move on to the Oathbreaker album?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anteros.
Yeah.
Go ahead, hit me with it.
Loved it.
Hell yeah.
Thought it was great. I did not like the two longer songs. I'll be honest.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all.
But like up until The Abyss Looks Into Me, I was like, oh my god, this is like fucking amazing. Like, holy crap, I love this. It's just all really, I like it. It's like punky metal.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is literally like, people literally describe this as post-hardcore mixed with black metal, which I think is pretty goddamn accurate.
Yeah, and it's like, I even like the vocals.
Well, I should hope so. I mean, she's a fucking amazing, like,
oh,
like I said,
it's a female vocalist?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Really? Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that at all.
I think there might be like a couple tiny points where there is another vocalist on it, but like, yeah, it's her the whole time.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't get that at all, but it didn't bother me. The screaming didn't bother me because it's just like,
because it's a female vocalist, and that's
no, because it's like the music like supports the vocals. The fact that the guitar is always like just like screaming as well. I don't know. Yeah, I liked this whole. It had, the energy was great. Just like, this reminded me a lot of Amisters.
That's why I put this on. I was like, it's such a shame that Amisters only did like a couple albums. I was like, what if there was another one? And then I found this band. I was like, oh, this is what it would be like. It would be this band.
Yeah. I'm so shocked that it's a female vocalist though. That's crazy. It does not sound like that at all to me.
I mean, she is singing pretty low. I mean, she's like,
It just sounds like a man.
Well, I mean, it's like the same thing with Arch Enemy, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think it's Angela. I can't remember what her last name is. Starts with a G. But
God, it's been so long since I thought about Arch Enemy.
Yeah. Well,
that was like, still when I was like looking up music videos on like MTV.com or whatever. I don't fucking remember. God.
I don't know if you see like the Audio Tree Live fucking like thing off to the side when you open up the album. It's usually like pretty high up in the recommendations.
Nope. Audio Tree.
Yeah, Oathbreaker on Audio Tree Live.
Oh, no. My algorithm is very, very different than yours, I'm sure.
Yeah. But fucking, I mean, like, she's so witchy looking. She's got like fucking like giant long hair, and she's just wearing like just like black all down, fucking like Doc Martens, and like, just like the whole 9 yards, and like it's just very, very witchy.
I see. Yeah.
Very witchy. I love it. I mean, even the fucking album cover is super witchy with like the the kind of like weird like what's it called? Like almost like the like second season of True Detective kind of like weird fucking like totem just hanging out there on the I love the whole vibe of this album.
Yeah, it's great.
And I feel like the first 11 minutes of this album, so basically right up until
the first 4 songs. Yeah.
Holy shit, it's one after another. It's just like nonstop, like fucking boom, this and then this and then this, and it's just like I sometimes I forget that they're all individual songs.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I found a link with separated songs out just because of that reason. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to talk about this unless I find out where one song ends and another begins.
Yeah. So you didn't like The Abyss Looks Into Me, though?
I didn't really. I feel like their strengths were the like franticness of everything.
Yeah.
And when they slow down, it's like, yes, this now starts to sound like other bands that I've heard more so than like. I mean, I still like it. It's just I'm not excited, you know?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it slows down, it starts to groove a little bit more, which is kind of in contrast to the rest of the music.
Yeah.
Although,
yeah.
that being said, I mean, both of those long tracks, right, I don't know if you noticed, but like on the album cover, it's an A and a B side.
Oh, no, I see now. Yeah.
Yeah, so both of those tracks are supposed to be the ends of their respective sections of the...
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So it's two albums. Okay,
It's basically like 2 albums. Yeah,
that makes more sense. Okay, well then I like these better as like end tracks. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as like they broke up the like energy of the album for me.
Yes.
And now that I know they're A and B sides, that
makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Now, what did you think of, in particular, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, I'm just going to pronounce this as phonetically as I possibly can, so I apologize, whatever language this is in, but Offer and Delegate?
Yeah, again, it's just like, this is back to sounding like black metal to me.
That's interesting that you say that.
Right? I mean, it's like, I mean, maybe black metal's the wrong word, but like, it's like the like,
so you didn't dig this particular song?
It's fine. I don't like. It's not like it's bad or anything. I've heard that before. I've heard like slow down tempo metal screamy music a million times.
Okay. Well, then I don't have any additional recommendations for you. Because that to me reminds me a lot of Mastodon's first album.
Exactly. It reminds you of Mastodon's first album, right? Like,
and Mastodon is sludge metal, I mean, actually, well, honestly, like, there's a couple tracks on here that remind me of other bands. That one definitely reminds me of Mastodon, and I love that sound, by the way. Like, that reminds me a lot of Trilobite off of Mastodon's Remission album, and like, that's like one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, Trilobite is fucking amazing. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get one more track that's like that. But the other one that I wanted to mention was, what did you think of Nomads?
Love it. Absolutely loved it.
Does it remind you of anything?
Yes, Metallica.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh my God. I'm not crazy. I was like, no. Yeah, it sounds like it's like a death metal Metallica. It's so weird.
They're doing, what is it? They're doing Iron Maiden riffs. Well, right?
Metallica. But yeah, it is. It's like old school, like fucking thrash metal,
Yeah.
Like it's really, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, this kind of sounds like Metallica. This is really weird. Like old Metallica.
Yeah, and it's like that's why that's the thing I liked about the album was like the energy, the punkiness, the really frantic, just like just like constantly going.
Yeah.
And when it slows down, I'm like, okay, like I mean, I get you had to probably do this, but like I don't need the breather. I could have kept going with the like I mean that last album, the last mixtape I recommended, right, had that song Anger or whatever on it, or Hate.
Yeah,
Scream, right? It's just like this album reminded me a lot of that kind of feeling, of just like
this is such a get pumped up album because it's just so like it just hits so hard and it's okay.
And I'm just listening to the middle part of Nomad right now, and where it like goes down tempo at like 140, and it's just like the bass and the drums going. It's like, oh my God, yeah, with like the little like choral part in the background. Oh my God, that's my jam.
Oh yeah,
it's like yes. More of that, please.
Yeah. Oh, God. When I discovered this album, I was so fucking happy. I was like, oh, my God, this is such a diamond in the rough, man. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. This is probably one of the best albums you've recommended, by no exaggeration. I love it. It's great.
I shouldn't have waited this long, then.
Yeah, this is really great.
Cool. Cool. I mean, I don't have anything else to say about it.
Yeah,
Should we jump onto the next one?
Yeah, let's do some Jay Dilla.
Let's do some Jay Dilla.
So now I'm really curious what you thought of this album, if you didn't like The Suburbs, because I didn't think you were going to like this one.
Okay. So let me sit back, get a cup of tea, sit by the fire. I'm going to tell you a little story. So, while I was waiting for you to recommend a second album, you popped up with this, right? And I had not listened to it yet. and I saw the cover of it, and I was like, oh, okay. So you're going to recommend like a hip hop album, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
You know, like that's cool.
Sure.
But I was like, I had this really weird kind of like visceral reaction of just like I don't really want to, you know?
Oh, yeah,
like,
sure, definitely.
I don't want to listen to a hip hop album. And I was like, well, why don't I? Right? Like, what's the thing? Why is like, because it's like,
I would never recommend you a raw hip hop album.
Okay. And it's like, because I don't really like rap and hip hop. Like, it's
I know you don't. Yeah.
It's not my jam. But I couldn't figure out why, right? Like I had a lot of trouble figuring out like, well, what is it? Because it's like, I mean, I've listened to rap, I've listened to hip hop in the past. So there was a point in time where I did enjoy at least a small section of it. And then I stopped, and I was really thinking about it for a while, and I finally came to the conclusion that much like, you know how you find like growling and screaming vocals kind of cringy? Mm-hmm. I think I realized that I find rapping kind of cringy. I think that's really what it comes down to, is like there's just something about it that like, and this, again, this is just a me thing. Like this is 100% a personal taste. Like I just find there's something about the rapping in general that I find kind of cringy. And I was trying to figure out what the hell it was. And I think it's because like, you know, I mean, I grew up in the 90s, right? And fucking every like really bad like commercial or whatever like had like somebody rapping in it, and it like to the point where like in later decades like rapping in out of context just became a huge joke of like, wow, somebody's really out of touch, or like wow, that sounds really bad. And I found that I have a lot of trouble distinguishing between that kind of rapping where it's bad and actually good rapping. Like to my ear, like there have been rap songs and like hip hop songs that I've heard that I can identify, oh, okay, this is different and this sounds better than that like shitty rapping over a commercial. But then there's other times where I'm like, corporate needs you to identify the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
A lot of rapping is very like rhymey and like, I don't know how to describe it, but I agree. There's like a lot of mainstream hip hop is, well, I mean, it's not really mainstream anymore. It's like when we were growing up, like lyrical poetry was a big thing in hip hop.
Yeah.
And like there's still artists that do that, like Immortal Technique and stuff. And there's a bunch of others. But that's not the kind of rap I like either. Like I don't like stuff where it's like, you know, it's meant to rhyme and like flow. I like aggressive, you know, I like death grips. Right?
Well, I was about to say,
right?
I was about to say death grips. It's like I can identify that death grips sounds different than, you know, hey kids, you want to buy some Captain Crunch? Let's something munch, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Identify that there's a difference between those two things. But like there's just a lot of like, I mean like a lot of like, I guess classic hip hop, like because people were emulating that in a shitty kind of like crappy way, it just like it burned into my mind that like this is associated with cringy things, and I can't uncouple from that association. And so I and maybe it's the same way for you, of just like you can't uncouple like growly screaming lyrics with being 12 years old in the back of the bus.
I can't disassociate it with, no, not even back of the bus. I can't dissociate it with like being in high school and Imagine Dragons getting popular.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I am so fucking old. Like I listen to real metal. Like what is this post metal bullshit? I'm so much better than you guys with my Aggrecocky and Behemoth. Like, and that's just, you know, I've maintained those like biases unconsciously throughout my life.
So I'm not saying never recommend an actual hip hop album to me. I accept that like it should be possible for me to like, you know, look past those inherent problems with my own brain of just like, I can't help but find this cringy. But anyway, so now let's get onto this album. So then, of course, like the first track comes on and I'm immediately pleasantly surprised by what this is, you know, like immediately. But have you ever heard of the concept of liminal spaces?
I mean, I have heard those words before, and I used to know what they meant.
So,
yeah.
So, for those who, you know, for those listening at home, a liminal space is like a good example is something like an abandoned office building that has the lights like still running, like the electricity's still going. You know, it's like it's cleared out. But yeah, and the electricity's on, but like there's no furniture, there's no anything in it, you know?
Yeah, the walkway over the highway at night.
Yeah, it's this idea. It's this kind of like, if you're familiar, and I know you're familiar with the term, but if you're familiar with the term uncanny valley, it's like the uncanny valley of a space where it's like this space should be used for something, you know, like this space is meant to be for something, and right now it's not being used for that thing, but it's sort of like it's still partially operational, and it gives you this kind of like almost unsettling feeling. People love liminal spaces for horror and stuff like that. Like actually a good example of a liminal space that I've experienced, you know, several times in my life, because I've moved a couple times, is emptying out an apartment. Like,
oh yeah,
that's a real strong feeling. Like if you stand in an apartment that you used to live in and it's now empty because your stuff has been, you know, loaded onto the truck, that's a liminal space. And that it has that kind of strange, like uncanny feeling to it. And even though this is described as instrumental hip hop or, you know, a couple other things, but like I almost would describe this as liminal hip hop.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because I think you've like perfectly 100% hit it on the head, right? Like Jay Dilla is a producer. He makes beats for I mean, he's dead now, God rest in peace. But like,
yes,
he's a hip hop producer, and like, so these literally are essentially unfinished hip hop songs.
Well,
right?
No,
like,
I'm aware of that, right?
So
like,
you're right. Like there is something missing. It's the over track. It's the over vocal track, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah, this is hip hop without the rapping, and it's like there is something like, first of all, I loved this album. Like,
oh yes, great, hell yes,
this album. But there is at times almost like that kind of a creepy feeling to it. Of like,
God, yeah.
Of like, oh, there should be something here that isn't here, you know? And it's like it's unsettling in an awesome way.
Yeah, it's so many songs just end.
Oh,
right? There's no attempt. There's no attempt to like soften it or outro it. It's like this is what I came up with. There's no like, he doesn't try to extend anything beyond its like life.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like a minute loop, you know, that you play over and over as a steady beat for a, you know. Oh god, this was, I've never heard anything like this.
Hell yeah.
I mean, obviously I have, because I've listened to the fucking bumps on Adult Swim, but like,
it's like I've heard working on it.
Yeah. I never realized that this was a thing that existed.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Well, then I have some great bands to recommend you if you liked this.
Yeah, no, this was literally incredible. Like I was so shocked by this.
Well, hell yeah. What were some highlights for you?
Okay, so number one track on the album for me, I think, was Stop.
Ooh, Stop. I don't have that one on my list. Let me listen to that. I
mean, you listen to like literally 11 seconds of this song and you know why I like this.
Why?
It sounds like Against All Logic.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, yeah. For me, the reason I like this album so much is it's halfway between hip hop and house.
Yeah.
It's like a house album almost. It's so good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that is my favorite track on the album. Now the other one that's really like really caught me, especially like just, I mean, let me just listen to it for a little bit, but yeah, I mean the actual like melody of Time, the Donut of the Heart.
Oh yeah.
Do 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 do. Fucking dude. And then they slow it down. It's dude, like it's fantastic.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Every one of these songs has such like raw feeling. I love it. Oh.
Yeah, I mean this is a special album, man. This is a real special fucking album.
Yeah. I mean there's a reason that like these kind of beats are like the primary kind of beats you get now in hip hop. Like he is one of the biggest influences. Where it's like, man, like he figured it out. Yeah. Any other songs you really liked?
I'm just going through my list. I'm just listening to them right now.
I mean, for me, I would say Waves right off the bat, because that's like, I can like picture myself eating a bread sandwich at 2 a.m. when I was 13. Right? Like
hell yeah.
as soon as Wave comes on, it's just like, yes, I know what this song is. It was like
Waves is really good. It's weirdly enough that one doesn't make it to my list.
I don't know how much I like it as a song. I'm just like nostalgia wise, right? It's like that was the bump music.
Yeah. I mean the other two ones are Two Can Win.
Oh yes, that is on my list as well. Yeah.
I mean again, Against All Logic. Like,
Yeah,
it's that
exactly.
same kind of like deal of just like, old school fucking, like
Funk
R&B
samples. Yeah.
Yeah, with some fucking sick beats behind it, and then I think the intro specifically to Don't Cry is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we could do this with every song.
We could. Now, the one question I did want to ask you though, Lightworks.
Yes, that's on my list.
So, have you listened to the original sample for that?
No.
Oh, dude, look up Lightworks Raymond Scott.
Raymond Scott. Oh my god, come on. You can do better than this, YouTube. There we go. Oh, okay. I didn't realize this was so, like, just straight up.
Yeah, well, and listen to it for a little longer, because, I mean, Raymond Scott is a fucking genius.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Born
right?
1908, just like, damn, this guy fucking, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's good.
So Raymond Scott, a little bit of genius. I mean, yeah, he was doing that shit in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, no disrespect to Jay Dilla, but like that track was pretty much just Raymond Scott with like a little bit on the top of it. Like,
yeah.
And both
Although
of those,
I will say that the added bit on top of the Lightworks really brings it together. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But like, yeah, both of those pieces, like Lightworks and also, Bendix, the Tomorrow People, were both Raymond Scott.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that whole thing is just like a fucking Raymond Scott love letter in 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
It was, yeah. So I was really, because I was like, oh, did he like pull this from like a commercial or something? I was like,
that's what I
no.
thought. Yeah,
that's what I thought too. But it's like, no, he pulled that from a fucking, and now I don't know if Raymond Scott pulled that from a commercial, but like, I think that I don't know.
I mean, Lightworks is certainly a thing that was commercialed. So,
okay,
right? Those little boards, little whiteboards, right? Little boards with like little lights you could put in it. That was Lightworks, right? Or was that something else?
I don't know.
Now that I'm looking it up, I don't think I'm right, actually. Oh, yeah, Light Bright is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a Light Bright commercial thing. But that's clearly not what it is.
I don't think that it actually
No, it's not. Yeah, but the samples he uses are so... I mean, dude, MASH is like a Silent Hill sample.
Let me take a listen to that real quick. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right around 25 seconds it comes in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one really hits the... When I talk about liminal hip hop, like, that one really hits that, like, oh, this is uncomfortable, Like, I like it a lot, but it's like, ooh, this is like, oh.
Wait, what is the sample for MASH? This is Silent Hill, right? I'm not crazy. There's a every sample from Jay Dilla's Donuts song, so I'm just gonna quickly pop through here. Oh, okay. Golden Apples by Galt McDermott. That's where that sample comes from.
Got it.
So I'm assuming Akira Yamaoka sampled it then, is what it is.
That would not surprise me.
That must be what it is. But yeah, I am surprised you like it, because I thought you wouldn't like how incomplete the songs sound. But like, I'm glad you got that was like the intention.
Well, I mean, yeah. So okay, so it's interesting you say that though, because I mean, I harped for a fairly long time in our podcast 2 podcasts ago, and I also want to readdress this since I mean, that's come out now, and I think eventually one day we'll have some people yelling at me for it. But like, I harped so much on the idea of the pure expression of an artist and how important I find that, and I mean, that's this.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
like. That's what this is. And it's like, it comes through just so fucking brilliantly. It's like, this is just somebody's fucking like raw shit that they've put out there. And like that hits for me. Like, and it won't always hit for everybody all the time. It won't always hit for me, but like I don't think there is anything better than something like this. Like, Jay Dilla was practically doing this album on his deathbed. I mean, literally was doing this on his deathbed.
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of feeling of like, all right, this is my thing. I'm just going to put it out here and that's it, And like, I dig it, Like, I think that like that type of just like, okay, I don't have a lot of time left, so this is what I'm giving the world before I go, is there's a lot of like fucking power to that, man, Like,
yeah, definitely. No, 100%. It comes through. It comes through. And so like, yeah, I mean, yeah, this album is like unfinished and disjointed, but like, that's part of what makes it so good, is like, I don't have time to like
smooth out the rough edges on this, I'm just going to give you like fucking 31 tracks of just like the hardest shit that I can come up with.
Yeah.
And this is it. And I love how this album is a loop.
Oh God. Is it?
Oh, did you?
Oh
did
God,
you,
it is.
Yeah. The last track is Donut's outro, and the first track is Welcome to the Show. And if you put the playlist on loop and you listen from one to the other, it just goes in a circle.
Wow.
Like a donut.
I never noticed that.
Like a donut, Steven.
So I missed the most obvious, like, surface level thing. Of course, that sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, I mean that's your trademark.
What's the obvious thing? No, I didn't get any of that.
Yeah. Also, I will mention Anti-American Graffiti, another just absolute fucking banger. I mean, I love the way that grooves. Like,
oh yeah. This album brought funk back to hip hop. I'm gonna make a claim right now and say
I would believe that. Knowing
what it did.
Yeah, knowing nothing about like the actual, like I know this was hugely influential, and like I don't really, like I said, because I don't listen to like really any hip hop or rap. Like I don't know like at what point people are like, oh shit, Jay Dilla, and then like started making more hip hop like this. But if that's true, I'm glad, because fucking hell yeah, man. Like
yeah, even if it's not true, I'm gonna pretend it is. Yeah, because it makes me feel better.
And also, he's from Detroit, where I live near.
Yeah, when did Donuts come out? It was 2006, right? Yeah, like Kanye's best album, I think, is supposed to be My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or maybe Graduation. But both of those came out after this. I wonder if he was because he's like he's one of the big names. I don't know enough about hip hop either to say. But I'm very glad you liked it. I didn't think you would, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, you should have seen it coming. I loved Against All Logic, and this is very much, in a lot of ways, this is very much the same vein, but like it's different, because like I mean, Against All Logic is very much like a very like
Against All Logic is overproduced. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say overproduced. It's produced
compared to this, it's overproduced.
Yeah, this is just raw tracks, and my God, are they good? So yeah, I hugely dug this. Dug this.
Well, that means I know at least one album I can recommend to you right off the bat. Is you should listen to Ricky Eat Acid.
Okay.
Because
you have to throw that in the chat for me.
Yeah, I need to figure out a good album that I can recommend, because he has like 20 million. But that'll definitely be something I'm going to recommend to you. Haunt You Forever. Yeah, this is the album. I don't think I'm going to recommend this for the next podcast or anything. Just if you liked Jay Dilla, I think you'd really like Ricky Eat Acid.
Okay. I'll check it out. I actually also, speaking of such, I did check out your XXYYXX.
Oh, yes.
I didn't listen to all of it. I think I got the point.
Well, yeah, just the one song though, right? I only listened to one song.
Oh, okay. I did listen to that, and then I also just I went back and listened to the album. I mean, like,
oh, I never listened to the album. How is the album?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of the same stuff.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
And I think so. They apparently get compared to, or The Weeknd gets compared to them, or vice versa. I'm not really sure which.
Oh, interesting. I've just started getting into The Weeknd actually, so that's really cool.
Yeah, and I listened to the album that people like by The Weeknd that like is the good one. And similar deal, because like I mean, again, just going. To return to that little discussion that we had at our longest podcast ever, when I went a little old man yells at cloud about pop music, like because you recommended the
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, well no, because you recommended this and you recommended The Weeknd to me as as like counterpoints to that, and like okay fine, but like I almost consider those two to be way more like your standard electronica music with pop music elements than I do just straight ahead pop music.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Yes, correct.
Okay. So
exactly right. That's what I consider good pop music.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Some surprises.
Yeah.
Some nice surprises.
Yeah, some twists and turns along the way.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I don't know what I want to do next time.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we could do an album. We could do something else.
Well, I mean, I guess what it really depends on is when we actually get around to recording it, because The Witcher will come out. And
oh, yeah, The Witcher and The Wheel of Time will be out, probably.
Yeah, so we might have to do a double feature on that.
Yeah.
So this might, I mean, you'll find out, but this might be the last episode of this season. So season 2, woo! Unless next episode is the end of season 2, in which case, ew.
Yeah, probably. I think I like that. I like the idea of doing The Witcher.
Nice.
Because I know I'm gonna watch that as soon as it comes out. So
yeah. So maybe we'll wait to do the next podcast until that comes out. In which case,
it's not till December though. I see.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, we'd have to wait till December. We might have to do one in the in between time. In which case, I can figure out another couple. I mean, I know what I want to recommend to you. I want to recommend those 2 This Town Needs Guns albums to you. So
yeah. I'll probably recommend like Ekelin and Flower Kings would be my next 2.
Well, okay, that's actually okay. So
just to finally do my actual like base of music that I come from.
Can we? I was going to actually ask about that. Do you want to do an episode of albums that we both know we both like and just gush on them? The one I was going to suggest for sure is TikTok by Gazpacho.
Oh yes. I would love to do a Gazpacho. Yeah, I would love that.
Because I mean, you recommended that to me a million years ago, and I think that is still one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah. Whenever it comes up on my iPod Shuffle when I'm driving, I'm always like, oh, yeah, I forget. I really like Gazpacho. These are a really good band.
Yeah. So that's hugely up on the list. I know if you did a Flower Kings, you would probably do that one.
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve.
No question.
I love. So, I mean, okay. Let's do that, man, because I really want to do let's gush about a couple albums that we both really like.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm all on board.
Hell yeah. Okay, so yeah, then definitely TikTok by Gazpacho, the one that you just said by the Flower Kings. I mean, is it As the World? Is that the Ekelin album?
No, I don't
is that not your favorite anymore?
No, I guess. I don't know. I really As the World, When the Sweet Turns Sour, Cowboy Poems Free are like, Suffocating the Bloom is really good too. I have a harder time choosing Ekelin albums. I'll figure something out.
So we could do the Sweet Turn Sour. I do like that one.
Okay, yeah, because I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that might be their actual best album too. So
yeah, that is a really good album by them. So then I guess the other album for me then. So okay, so for me it was TikTok by Gazpacho, and then I guess either one of the 2 Black Bonzo albums we've listened to, Lady of the Night or Sound of the Apocalypse.
Okay, I mean if we want to just gush, Black Bonzo for sure.
Okay, so then which one, Lady of the Night or Sound of the Apocalypse? Because they're both really good. Actually, I even know the answer. Sound of the Apocalypse is fucking amazing. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Oh man, I've been excited. That might be actually a good season ender right there.
Definitely. Yeah.
Fucking albums that it's either that or that'll be the Christmas special. We'll see what happens. All right, man.
Yeah.
This was good.
Stop.